13,260 pounds, the brand new Pinnacle 32 RLTS here at Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan. This is the one that I think a lot of people have been waiting for. This is effectively just a little bit streamlined version of the 36 KPTS, which is still in production. They're not sacrificing one for the other, by the way. Generally speaking, like, people don't realize Pinnacle is kind of in a class virtually on its own. You know, other brands that we carry that would kind of be somewhat similar would be things like the Jayco North Point or the Keystone Montana. And a lot of people want to compare a Montana to a North Point, or pardon me, to a Pinnacle, but Montana actually compares to a North Point. So what is this thing? And here's the most oversimplified way I can describe it that helps you easily compare against some of the other things you've seen here at Haylett RV. This is effectively a Montana 3120RL that is wide body with a legacy package. Now, that's a gross oversimplification, and both brands are studs in their own rights, but that'll give you an idea of what we're looking at. So finally, we can get a full-featured, full-power, full-function Pinnacle that's closer to 35 feet as opposed to 45 feet. Now, with the slides closed, what's kind of cool here, you can still, you kind of, you know, crawl over the bed, but you can get to those, that big front wide body wardrobe. Pardon the TVs in the boxes. We often have the TVs shipped loose in our Jaycos here at Haylett RV, so that other than when our techs quality inspect them, you're the first ones to touch them. But I'd like you to get to see that you have full access to the bedroom, the bathroom in transit. So, especially with this being the smallest Pinnacle, I think that this will appeal more to people who are looking for that really high-class lifestyle, but they're looking to be a little bit more mobile as opposed to just tied down into a park, although there's nothing stopping you from doing that here. Now, again, with the slides closed, you got an island, you got opposing super slides, you are not going to have full access. However, if you take a little sideways two-step, you see, you can get to the freezer. You can get to the fridge. You can actually get to the dining area. And what's kind of cool about all that is it makes it very, frankly, travel stop friendly while still maintaining the ability to, you know, get it all packed up and like get your clothes in it and get ready if you're parked in a storage area. Sorry, it's cold and my brain just froze for a minute there. Let's get her opened up. Now, I mentioned a lot of things when this video began, but one of them is a very critical factor to the Jayco Pinnacle, and that is that it is a 102 wide body. It's a max width wide body, not a 8-foot standard body. And that extra 6 inches is a difference people immediately can perceive the moment they step inside. For those real full-timers who are looking to get every, you know, inch of living space possible, this is where you want to be. Now, I want to start from the top down, and this is not going to be a short video, guys. We have a lot to cover. We've got that Max Air vent fan up there, giving you, you know, more airflow, kind of doubles as a little bit of a mini skylight. And you're going to see a lot of diesel pushery features here, like the, you know, the ceiling light fixture, all the indirect upper accent lighting, you know, the dinette, some of the seating. There's a lot of motorized feels in this, including hardwood cabinet styles, not lumber core with a sticker wrap, which is fine. This is just better. Now you can see you've got this open feeling vaulted ceiling in here, and we'll talk more about the way that that's constructed later on when we get up to the roof. One thing you're not going to see either in the living room or the bedroom is the air conditioner, because this has a 30,000 BTU dual whisper ducted centralized air conditioner system. And that is nice. It's nice having the quiet AC up in the bedroom, not just the living room. And I think as more time goes on, more and more brands are going to try to catch up to what Jayco's doing there. Now, you've got the wide body, opposing super slides, and windows galore. And that's what's cool about this floor plan. This floor plan gives us just an insane amount of window coverage, all of which open for airflow. You can see both sofa and recliner side windows all open for air. And amazing visibility of your campsite on your side of the RV. You didn't buy a Pinnacle so that you could keep the shades drawn because you don't want to look at the neighbors. You know, you bought a Pinnacle to look at your destination, your campsite. But what's kind of cool is the way that they do their entertainment center gives you more windows and more visibility than most brands, because you can see right here that you've got the, you know, a window there when you want it. And you've got a little gas strut assist TV lift that'll lift the TV, you know, when you're ready. What's also neat about this, if you put the TV away, in a sense, you kind of have an expanded kitchen serving buffet, prep space, if you will. Now, you want to be careful what you put in there because you don't want to drop chip crumbs down through your little TV housing, but it's actually fairly hard to do that. You've got an all-Furrion entertainment system here, like your Bluetooth soundbar. You've got an electric space heating fireplace down there. And what's great about that, guys, you can use it just for LED visuals if you're, warm camping, summer camping, or you can turn it on to get some bonus heat in here if it is spring or fall. If it's chilly, though, 32 and below, you actually don't want to run that because you'll trick your thermostat into turning off early. Now, over here, you can see our entertainment system. Now, what's cool is it's not just high-def capable, it's actually high-def wired. That's one of the other things that Jayco will do for you. And they leave you a nice pocket up here with some extra outlets and like satellite hookups in the event that you do want to expand your entertainment desires. Now, once again, this is not a lumber core with a sticker wrap. This is stained, pocket screwed hardwood cabinet styles. And of course, cabinet doors. And the nicer metallic struts with the hidden hinges to keep everything all nice and closed up. Now, you will find that these have dual section day and night shades, so you have as much light, as little light, as much or as little privacy as your little heart desires at any given point. You know what, actually, let's go ahead and open this up so you can see what that looks like in entertainment mode. So just a flick of a switch, the TV raises itself in about, 1.2 seconds. I didn't time it, but that sounds about right. Obviously, your TV is included, as you'll find as we go. We typically have our TV shipped loose in our Jaycos here at Haylett RV. Other than when we quality check them, you'll be the first people to touch them that way. You'll have a TV here in the bedroom, and we've actually optioned a TV outside on this one as well. Now, extra little Jayco doing Jayco things like a little floating storage ottoman footrest. You can, make an extra little kiddo or guest seat. You can make it a toy chest, storage, whatever it needs to be. It's just there if you need it, gone if you don't. Now, with this being a wide-body RV, they have the opportunity to put a wider sleeper sofa back here. So this is a comfortable 3-adult sleeper, not 2, but being wide-body, they still had the ability to give you side stands with outlets on both sides of the camper. Plus, factor in the fact that we've got those blackout night shades, and we have all kinds of indirect lighting, and you've got an amazing guest sleeping RV right here. And what I'd like to do is introduce you to something that I call stealth mode camping. So what I mean by that is I've turned off all direct lighting. I'm utilizing only indirect lights right now, like, the above the ceiling fascia, the pendant skylight area, under the countertop. Actually, one of the neat things on these is your ability to navigate the RV at night, and I've kind of simulated that by pulling all of the blackout shades here. So there's a little bit of light bleed through, but I think you get the idea. Now back here you see, you do have that very comfortable adult-sized hide-a-bed. They don't really call hide-a-beds kings or queens, but if they did, I guess this would be the king equivalent to like an RV hide-a-bed. It's larger, wider, more space. You could put 3 grandkids on it if you were so inclined. Now what's cool is you notice, even with that floating ottoman, there's still room to be able to walk around and navigate. So if somebody is sleeping back here, it does not stop you from waking up in the morning, getting to your coffee maker, getting your day started. And being a little bit wider body, this is, remember those side stands? Well, those side stands are good for, heated blankets, CPAP machines. So this is guest CPAP friendly. That's a pretty cool thing. Now, you might notice how there's a little bit of room in front of that sofa over here, so that, again, if you do wake up in the morning and you, want to get up, you want to start watching TV or something, you still have room to sit there, and the nearest recliner section can still open, which is a pretty neat thing. Now, I want to kick some light back on to just kind of give you a more brightly lit visual reference point here to everything that I just discussed, but I think you get the idea. Now, why do I like to talk about stealth mode camping? Well, as a person who actually goes camping, when it's early morning or late at night, especially being a father, I've got a little 8-year-old running around, you need to try to get her busy little body slowed down so that she finally drifts off to sleep. Because we had so much fun today camping, and she is just about to melt down because she's tired, and I need to just bring it down a notch. Or, frankly, if you're just watching a movie, it's nice to not have the lights glaring at your eyes the whole time. So having the ability to be morning, noon, and night friendly is a very cool function and feature here in these Pinnacles. All right, rejoining the daylight group. I mentioned how all the windows are big, how all the windows open, how you have visibility everywhere, but have you noticed how they're fully trimmed out? It's just a nice little touch. It's just one of those touches. They don't need to do that, they just do. This features what I like to refer to as the no neck wrecker entertainment setup. That is where you have your primary seating, in this case these power heat massage theaters cinema seats, directly across from your HD TV arrangement, so that you don't have to do the 90-degree neck bend to be able to see anything. Now, just even the way that they contour the cabinets here, you know, there's just no detail missed on these things. 6.5 foot tall slides means even big people like me are very comfortable in here, because I can stand up from the table in the slide out and never bash my head on anything. Now, I mentioned, I think earlier, how, yeah, I did, there's windows all around. Now, your main entry door has an extra large window, but it also has a privacy shade. I have that actually pulled down about 9 inches right now. And remember I said that this has some diesel pushery sort of feels and elements. This dining arrangement is kind of one of those. Most of the time, it's going to be just the two of you. That little tabletop section, that elevated sort of shelf, you know, on the under the window, that'll take care of you. Also, notice that this is a no knee knocker dining arrangement, where it has its own sort of support system, so you're not going to bash your shins on stuff constantly like I tend to do with long legs. Now, we got 2 full-time chairs, and then you have a pair of fold-out guest chairs. They're there when you need them, gone when you don't. You can put them in the closet, under the bed, whatever works for you. Now, we'll talk more about the kitchen in just a moment, but I want to begin with this island, mostly because I'm just standing in a position where I have a good look at it. Solid surface counters throughout. You can see that pop-up appliance power tower right there. You can push that down to recess it if you need more prep space. Dual household outlets on that, and USB plugs. Now, you've got metallic hardware here, not plastic-looking stainless hardware. That high-rise, you know, Swan Lake sink fixture. With below that, you have this beautiful skirted stainless sink. Very kind of residential and look and feel, very on trend for what people are putting in houses currently. Kind of ironic. It's exactly what my wife was looking at. I actually got to feel like I knew what I was talking about with residential interior design, just simply from my heavy amount of experience in the RV industry. Now notice more easy reach appliance outlets as well. It's just one of those extra nice little detail things they put in there. But it's really just scratching the surface. We already talked about earlier the MaxxAir vent fan above. Now, whether you're going to use that for general airflow or to exhaust cooking heat, you have it. One other quick thing I want to talk about is the refrigerator. You have different options. We very heavily lean toward the 18 cubic foot gas and electric refrigerator because it has that auto changeover backup. The benefit there, guys, is that if your RV ever loses power, the propane unit will kick on, and you'll never lose the stuff that's in your fridge. And it only takes one time for you to really regret that, because not only do you have to replace what's in the fridge, you have to do a lot of cleaning, and it's going to stink up your RV something fierce. We know that because Mr. Haylett had that happen in his RV once when those electric fridges first came out. And what we discovered, the residential electric-only refrigerators, they, first of all, getting them serviced is a nightmare, and secondly, they have not as good service records because they're not made to get bounced down the road. They're made to be in a house. A diesel pusher with an air ride system and an auto generator backup, that's a different story. This is not that. And especially this being a shorter Pinnacle, I think you're going to want to tow and go with it more, and I think that this is most definitely the correct fridge application for it. When we began this video, I mentioned how this is effectively a cleaned up, streamlined version of a 36 kPTS. One of the areas where you can see that variance is here in the kitchen. The KP and the KPTS originally meant kitchen pantry. The KPTS originally, when it first debuted, had a walk-in kitchen pantry. Very neat, but it made the RV look and feel kind of blocky. When they opened it up, the RV exploded in popularity. But the trick is, it's longer. And you get stuff for that. It's not just longer for no reason. You get stuff for it. But if you take note, you've got plenty here. I mean, they really did this well. So you've got that nice little entry bureau or coffee bar. It'd be a perfect little coffee bar. That pocket below the overhead cabinet right there on the right-hand side, you see that green glow? There's USB plugs in there. Now that wiring box that you see is the basically the wireless router system for the One Control feature that we'll talk about later. But you still have plenty of pantry space here, and frankly, it's easy to access. I like that it's not too deep. It's plenty deep. You can put cereal boxes in there and have room to spare. Then, we come around. We have upgraded this one to feature the convection microwave oven, so that if you don't want to flip on the traditional oven, and of course it'll work like a microwave, but you can do baking in there. It'll cook 25% faster and introduce 25% less heat into the RV. Pretty handy. Residential style sealed burner stovetop means cleaning this is much, much more simple. As we look around at more of that all hardwood cabinetry, you can see that they threw shelves in where they could, where it made sense to really maximize your storage capacity here. And once again, we have excellent, excellent prep space going on. Now down below, you have what I call drawers galore, ladies and gentlemen. They even put a big drawer under the oven to make sure that no space went to waste. But what's neat is taking up yet another classy notch is the fact that these are all residential soft close drawers, which I love watching those things work. It has such like a magical, captivating quality to me. So from here, moving forward, right by the entry door, we have our central vacuum hookup and what I like to refer to as the electric dustpan. That's the little toe kick feature down here, so you don't have to like get a broom and a dustpan. You can just kind of sweep things over here, flip it up with your toe, you're good to go. As we move forward, little detail things too, like the actual handrail here for the entry door, so that it doesn't like pull out of the wall. What I'm saying there is, if a manufacturer doesn't build this into the RV from the factory level, you can't just add one to a sidewall because there's nothing for the screws to bite into. They have to purposely build this in here. Now, I've got the lights off in the bathroom and the bedroom currently because I wanted you to get to see the sort of like air traffic controller night lighting that they have going on here. And one switch activates that. So whether you're in the kitchen, in the bedroom, whatever, you can flip on all of the lower accent lights at one time with one switch to navigate the RV, get where you're going, and then, you know, come back. Now, what's also neat is that also activates this little sort of like mother of pearl inlaid indirect LED light inside, or around rather, not actually inside the sink, so you can see what you're doing. Now, give me just a minute here. I'll turn some lights on so we can actually see what we are doing. And overall, this bathroom arrangement that we're looking at here, it's fairly common in the RV business, but I think Jayco really executed this very well. If you notice, they're always doing those extra little things, like they're including just this extra little, whether they're going to use it for body washes or hand towels or something, just the little things that other brands don't, that would normally leave this open. And there's nothing wrong with that, it's just that Pinnacle did more. But then again, they're not the least expensive option out there. So this is actually kind of sharing space with the pantry right below it. That's what's actually below the lower section down here, but they still give you some handy shelf space, which is very, very useful. This is a one-piece, seamless molded, self-reinforced fiberglass shower enclosure with corner seat, as you can see. And another thing on Jayco Pinnacle models is their upper deck height. Well, frankly, their entire height. Jayco Pinnacles and North Points are taller. Case in point, I'm 6'2", 6'3", and you can see I'm dwarfed by the size of this in here. Now, whether it's an open range, a Montana, something else that we carry here, like an Eagle or a Cougar here at Haylett RV, I can walk around those, but not like this. Not with that level of headroom and comfort. Now, even here in the bathroom, we get the bigger MaxxAir vent fan for superior airflow, and then just the little details like the adjustable height shower head, which, you know, my wife and I, we are significantly different in terms of height, and that is a very, very handy thing for us to have. Your, you know, outlets here, GFI protected for things like blow dryers, plenty of counter space, and that, now that we're all lit up, you can see the stainless inside that sink. And I love how they went very minimal with the sink fixture, or the faucet itself, to give you more prep space. And who doesn't like some overhead lighting so you can see every little blemish on your face in the morning? I know I do! Anyway, another thing that they have here is a true sliding pocket privacy door, but obviously it locks in place so it doesn't bang around in transit. Also note, again, they're very intelligent about heat duct position at Jayco. They make sure they always put them in like a virtual no traffic zone so that you get the benefit, essentially, of a carpetless camper, but you also get the benefit of the superior heating of floor ducted heating, you know? Now up here, we've got our, again, whisper quiet air in the bedroom, and this is a 15,000 BTU as well, so 30,000 total BTU dual whisper ducted air conditioning, which is pretty darn great. One of the neat things in these is that Pinnacles are built with a king bed standard. You actually have to option down to a queen, and I've only ever seen one customer do that one time. But what's great, because they built it with a king bed in mind, they made sure you could still walk around it. And if you note, there are outlets on each side of the bed. You can see that black box down there so that you can, run your CPAP machines and whatnot. Now you have a symmetrical front closet up here. You see that, corner stand on the right-hand side? There's a matching one on the left side behind those sliding glass, fully mirrored doors. And I love how they put the crisscross work on that just to really accent it up. Now, another thing they've done here, which I think is really cool. Oh, by the way, I don't want to miss the fact that you remove those shelves and bam, there you go, stackable washer dryer ready. But up here in this closet, you get in here. At first I wasn't sure this was working, but as soon as I reached in, the motion sensor kicked on. The problem is when I was setting up the camper, I was looking directly at that and I'm still seeing stars. But you've got actual cedar lined front closet up here, and they utilize every square inch of this nose cap they possibly can. You have 2 removable hanging rods to maximize your storage in clothing space, as well as either a shelf space, shoe rack, or whatever you want to utilize it as. Now your bedroom TV is included here. I simply, again, want to mention that we have them shipped loose here at Haylett RV so that you're the first people to touch them, beyond the techs doing quality control. Big cross breeze and viewing window here in the bedroom. Of course, day and night shade for privacy. And again, that one lower accent light, it controls all of the lower accent lights in every area of the RV. Now, this is nice because this is actually hardwood little top right there, so beautiful little detail work, and it's easy to miss the little phone charging thing that they have going on here. One last detail I want to point out before we step outside is the fact that below this king bed you do have full storage. And I want to point it out because not all fifth wheels with bed slides have full storage like that. It takes a little bit more time and effort to make it work that way, but what you get is excellent. You can see that I've got one of those 2 folding guest chairs in there, your central vacuum components, and plenty of additional room. And you can also take note, you've got well-supported plywood bed decking, not OSB stuff. Again, there's nothing wrong with OSB. It's just that this is just built better. There's good, and then there's better. And that's what you're looking at here. This is intended to be not one that you replace, but the last one you ever need. Now again, a couple key things to mention. You see that beautiful blue 2 in the window there. Jayco not only has twice the RV warranty, not trying to, not just a structural coverage, but a full RV warranty. They have double the length, and they are covering full-time RVers within that warranty now for any 2019 Pinnacle, even ones that were sold before that announcement was made. That's pretty darn cool. We have a full 102 wide body. And that's another big difference here, is that a lot of people want to compare this to a lot of other RVs, but they're typically an 8-foot standard body. One of the things that truly separates a Pinnacle is that it is like a toy hauler in that it has a maximum width. And you can see I actually remembered to light up all the accent lights today on that beautiful painted nose cap. They have the largest front compartment in their class. So we have built this one generator ready, which actually what's cool about that is it upgrades from dual 30-pound tanks to triple 40-pound propane tanks, so you actually have the increased propane capacity to run a generator should you choose to add one. You have the extra storage compartment on the right and room for, I don't know, like 4 battery, or pardon me, yeah, extra storage compartment on top with room for batteries on the right. There we go. Now up front here, the MORryde shock dampening pin box. This begins the 5-star handling package you find on all Pinnacles and North Points. And if you twisted my arm and made me say which pin box do I personally prefer, it is this one. Because not only does it have front to back shock dampening, but it also has a measure of side to side shock dampening. Because this is a big coach. And I think you want that extra shock dampening stability there. Notice that below that bedroom slide, there is not a vertical piece of plastic trim where they are pre-cracking fiberglass, because Jaycos don't need to do that. One of the reasons this is not less expensive, one of the reasons this is not lighter weight, is because they use a thicker box tube steel upper deck perimeter frame, so that they don't have to pre-crack glass, so that this thing doesn't droop and sag and crack over time. Part of the reason they have a longer warranty. We've added the optional slide awnings to this, as you can see, to reduce maintenance. The other thing those are really good for is providing reduced heat to the slides via shade. Just like you sit under the patio awning of your RV, the slide awnings are going to do the same thing for the top of your slides. Over here, Couple quick notes. You've got a 10-gallon gas electric fast recharge water heater, and I'm glad the RV industry finally quit using that inefficient 12-gallon system. They were using a 12 because 12 is bigger than 10, and a lot of people didn't realize that a 10-gallon water heater recharges the exact same gallons per hour as a 12, but it just does so at a reduced cost. So this, I think, is one of the best water heaters that we've seen out here. Obviously, fully privatized docking center. We'll take a look at the pass-through compartment on the other side, but a couple quick notes. Fully skirted. So, you know, you can run all your hoses and cables down through there and keep this door locked because you're not part of the 751 key club with a Pinnacle. And you've got a side mount solar. We'll see roof prep solar later. We're actually going to climb up on the roof. And full outside utility shower on top with one of those sort of removable, exchangeable hose fittings, which is actually really handy. When I first saw them, I was like, oh, that looks hokey. When I started using them, I'm like, that's really smart, actually. And they make it very easy to understand your water system. If you can name shapes and colors, then you can operate the water system on this Pinnacle. So my daughter, as of age 3, was qualified to operate the water system on this Pinnacle. It does not have to be a big, scary adventure. So we have full 2-inch aluminum skeleton laminated sidewalls, very common in this class category. Full rear cap, and the flooring in this. We have a 5/8 tongue and groove plywood floor with 2x3 studs every 12 inches on center. That is one of the most heavy-duty, strongest floor construction methods you can find in the RV business. It also allows them to run heat runs through the floor. One of the questions people have is, well, you know, why are there heat ducts in the floor? And the answer is for efficiency. Cabinet ducted heating. If you want to get rid of those floor ducts, Jayco could do it, but the cold camp testing data on this would suffer as a result. And if you're going to advertise something as a cold camper, it better be able to perform in cold camping. And Jayco's can. More on that later. So back here, something that Jayco introduced last year in the Eagle series, which has since made its way through the industry, or well, not through the industry, through Jayco, is the J Smart lighting system. SMART stands for signals, markers, and reverse travel. What that all means is that when you flip on, say, your left blinker, so first of all, notice that they're giving you double tail lights on this, which is great, and they're all LED, as are all your clearance and marker lights LED, by the way, no incandescents here. So if you flip on the left turn signal, the upper clearance lights and all your associated left side marker lights will blink along with that, so that other drivers know what you're doing. That's nice, you know, just like a semi-truck. Now, below the backup camera prep down here below the 5th tail light, because they're going safety crazy here, is a reverse travel light. That's what that big white bar right there is, and that thing is no joke. That will light it up back here so that when you're backing up, you can actually see what you're doing. We have optioned on the 2-inch rear receiver hitch here, so that if you do want to add things like a bike rack, you can do so without voiding that 2-year full-time RVing warranty that Jayco provides. You know, the frameless windows, of course, are standard. That's pretty common fare once you get into a bigger class and category like this. But what's also nice is how much patio space you get on this beast. Another optional piece of equipment that we're looking at today is the second awning mounted right on the face of that slide out. And I think that it's more important on this model than almost any other Pinnacle. You know, like the 36K PTS, it's got a bigger body. It has room for a bigger awning, although we'll still put a second awning on that because if you're buying a Pinnacle, why not? But the front awning, although maximum in size, is not as big as some of the other Pinnacle models. So the second awning gives you maximum patio coverage. Now, over here on your door side, you are welcomed by just a whole ton of windows so that you can enjoy your campsite. And notice that the slide side windows are also extra tall, give you more airflow, more visibility. The awnings, they do have a tilt and lock adjust feature on front and rear. And they also have auto rain dump features because, frankly, that front awning is pretty darn tall. I don't expect you to get on a ladder to tilt the awning. That would just be an unrealistic expectation. You can also clearly see both awnings have LED lighting for patio time. Now, what we're looking at here, we have optioned this one to include an outside TV and entertainment center. That's if you don't, the door wouldn't be here. Now, obviously, you're going, yeah, but there's no TV. Remember that we ship our TVs loose in our Jaycos typically here at Haylett RV. It just makes it easier to store them so that they don't walk down the highway on their own, you know, before you buy the RV. But this is actually really handy, and it does have a swing arm mount out here as well, so you can make it kind of face wherever you want it at your campsite. Now, a couple cool things down here. These stickers kind of remind me. First of all, part of the 5-star handling package is that these do ride on Dexter axles, and they also have brass shackles with wet bolt fasteners. And if you don't know what all that means, please give our guys a call so we can explain it. I can't get nitty-gritty details and everything, but long story short, it's some serious running gear hardware. Kind of like the fact that we are looking at best-in-class Goodyear Beast Endurance tires. These have a higher, like people go, yeah, but it's an E-rated tire. It is, but it also has a higher load rating than a common, like Chinese G-rated, people like to call them China bombs, even though there's plenty of good tires that come out of China, but you get the point. These are American-made. They're also rated for 87 mile an hour at only 80 PSI, so you don't have to take it to some industrial tire shop to get pressure. And in the middle there, another facet of our 5-star handling package is the MoreRide shock dampening rubberized suspension system. Now, over here, a couple neat things. They give you a larger entry door handle. The way that it droops down there makes it easier coming and going. They also have not just a wider entry door, but a taller entry door. And if you open this thing up all the way, you can see that they not only use the MoreRide stable steps here, but they also use the zero gravity version thereof, so that thing slowly drops. It'll probably catch itself at some point, but it maybe not on this one. It's cold, so the gas struts don't like to work as well. These actually work better in the summer than the winter, and it's getting chilly here right now. It's just above freezing currently. But the fact is, even when the strut was compromised from the weather, it still never just like collapsed and cracked anybody on the head. It's not going to crush you, your dog, your friends, your grandkids, anything. It's just awesome. Now, they also put their speakers down here at skirt level, so that you're not drilling 4-inch holes in the sidewall, and you can hear your outside speakers instead of blowing away the neighbors. Now, I'll tell you what, another thing, the 6-point leveling system, I just had a thought. On a RV this size, being a little bit shorter, it will be unbelievably sturdy and stable when you get there. Now, you can see that we've got this huge drop frame storage compartment. You've got outside TV hookups, all kinds of plugs, and it is fully skirted also. You can see how that you have to have a little, run-through sort of port plug here. And that is so that, you can have outside TVs going and leave your baggage compartment closed. You've got your central vacuum dump station here, and a couple other things I want to point out. If I take a knee, you look up here, you can see the heavy-duty 2x3 aluminum structure of the, the flooring of the upper deck. You can see how they actually have a dedicated heat vent strictly for the pass-through compartment. And you can see how they're using a superior double-sided thermal foil instead of a single-sided reflective hot dog paper looking stuff. And I'm not saying hot dog paper sound derogatory, it just, people know what I mean when I say that. I'm just trying to give you a visual reference point. Jayco uses those better materials, not just where you can see them, but even where you can't. Now, that's not just the pass-through compartment that is protected that way, but the entire upper deck is fully separately insulated. There's multiple layers of insulation and forced air heating going on in the underbelly. It's insulated above the pin box, through the nose, the slides, of course, the roof and all that. So if some, manufacturers lately here, they've liked to say, well, we do something no one else does. That's not true. A lot of manufacturers insulate nose caps now, guys. A lot of manufacturers insulate goosenecks, but a lot of manufacturers still fail to insulate pin boxes. And that pin box, it's located basically up in your bedroom, in the closet. And if that's not insulated, especially if you're trying to cold camp, you're just going to be spilling hot air out of it. But that's not going to happen in a Jayco product. And that's true all the way down to the Eagle HT fifth wheels. Every fifth wheel Jayco makes is treated the exact same way in that regard. So, they are doing more here than the average bear. And that's one of the things that I like about them. And that's one of the reasons that Jayco doesn't need to publish nonsense R40, R52, R99 roof values. They don't have to just make stuff up, because they actually cold chamber, hot chamber every single model that they make. And they actually publish the testing data for that. And what's funny is even without a reported R40 value, they still have superior hot cold camp testing data, because guys, promises do not equate performance. Pinnacles are built to perform, not for promises. Whenever I get on the roof of a Jayco, I always feel like one of these commercial pitchmen, like, and that's not all, folks, because we've already talked at length about a lot of pretty cool features. But there's a lot going on even up here. Like you can see, you have dual low profile air conditioners because it is basically maximum height. This is what I call a squeaker, you know, squeaks under an overpass. But hey, it's fine for, you know, any normal legal unmarked road. The roof decking we're walking on is highly uncommon. First of all, it's very uncommon that you get plywood roof decking in a towable RV. That's just not normal. OSB is fine, it really is, but plywood has a greater load bearing across a span, basically, you know, when it's flat horizontal like this, or vaulted as it were. Now, remember that Pinnacle's wide body. Wide body plywood is not normally used in this business. In point of fact, a lot of manufacturers who use plywood in production will actually swap to OSB when the RV becomes wide body, just for cost reasons. But Jayco didn't cut the corner. You can see all the heavy-handed on their sealants. They didn't cut the corner. The 360 siphon cap so that you don't have black tank odors backflowing into your RV. The roof mount solar prep in addition to the side solar prep. You know, they went all of the way here. Now your dual 6-inch arched trusses, the Magnum Truss XL6 roof system that we're walking on right now. What's cool about that is it leaves no insulation gaps along the sidewalls. So, you know, you're not going to have those sweat lines at the top of your RV against the walls where there's just a little bit less insulation from the hot-cold exchange. They also build this whole roof skeletal structure at ground level as opposed to up in a scaffolding so that they can put a little bit more precision to it, and then it's actually hoisted in place. And ladies and gentlemen, that's literally the exact same way that a lot of motorhome roofs are constructed. So they're doing some things here that are just not commonly accomplished within the RV business, because the idea behind this is to make it the last one you ever need, want, have to purchase. And that's part of the reason that, once again, they have extended their warranty on all Pinnacle North Points as of anything in the 2019 season to full timing. And again, the fact that at the beginning of the year, they had a 2-year warranty, but it did not have a full-time RVing stipulation. And the fact that they fitted their warranty to cover anyone who bought one of these in a 2019 model year is actually pretty darn impressive. I've never seen a manufacturer retroactive warranty to provide additional coverage to an existing customer. But isn't that how it's supposed to be? Isn't that the kind of brand that you want to do business with? Learning stuff like this? Aren't we the kind of dealer that you want to do business with, you know? So when you're ready, guys, take all the time you need, but need all the time you take. We're here, we're ready. We've got about 500 campers laying around at any given point, big, small, and in between, and we don't do hidden dealer fees. We only do everything else. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.